On February 8th, 1692, news of the new Massachusetts charter arrived in Boston, worrying many who were concerned about the colony losing some of its independence that it had under the original charter. Hello, and welcome to Salem Witch Trials Daily. I'm Josh Hutchinson.
Hi, I'm Sarah Jack. Today we're looking at perhaps the most familiar family tragedy within the larger tragedy of 1692, the Towne sisters, Rebecca Nurse, Mary Esty, and Sarah Cloyce.
This is a story that is deeply personal to both of us. As our listeners know, Sarah and I are actually distant cousins. We're both descendants of Mary Esty, and Sarah is also a descendant of Rebecca Nurse.
These women were grandmothers, mothers, and sisters.
To understand them, we have to go back to the beginning. The sisters were the daughters of William and Joanna Towne. Rebecca and Mary were born in Great Yarmouth, Norfolk, England, before the family migrated to the colonies. Sarah was born later in Massachusetts.
The Townes eventually settled in Topsfield, Massachusetts, on a farm that stretched toward Beverly. In 1692, the sisters were grown women with families of their own. They were church members and well-respected.
But in 1692, there was a rumor that John Putnam Jr. attempted to circulate that their mother, Joanna Towne, had been a witch before them, though records show she was never formally accused.
Rebecca Nurse was the oldest at 71 years old. She was sick at the time that she was arrested and considered a pious member of the Salem Town Church. Her arrest was on March 24th, 1692. It was a shock to her and the community.
Her trial was one of the most dramatic moments of the entire witch hunt. The jury initially found her not guilty, but the Chief Justice William Stoughton wasn't satisfied. He sent the jury back to reconsider, essentially pushing them into a conviction.
And the reason for that reversal is heartbreaking. During the trial, another accused woman, Deliverance Hobbs, was brought in. Rebecca asked, "What do you bring her for? She is one of us." Rebecca meant, probably, that she was a fellow prisoner. But the court interpreted one of us to mean one of us witches.
Because Rebecca was elderly, possibly hard of hearing, the courtroom was crowded and noisy. The afflicted people were screaming in agony. Rebecca just couldn't hear the court ask her to clarify the statement, so she didn't answer, and her silence was taken as a confession of guilt. She was executed on July 19th, 1692.
Today, her monument stands at the Rebecca Nurse homestead.
While Rebecca's story is one of a judicial miscarriage, her sister Mary Esty's story is one of incredible self-sacrifice. Mary lived in Topsfield. She was arrested, interrogated, and actually released in May 1692 because the accusers momentarily stopped crying out against her.
But then the afflicted girl, Mercy Lewis, fell into terrible fits, claiming Mary Spector was choking her and would kill her by midnight. They went and rearrested Mary and dragged her to jail in the middle of the night.
Mary knew she was going to die, but rather than pleading for her own life, she wrote a petition to the governor, the judges, and the ministers that is one of the most moving documents in early American history.
She wrote, "I petition to your honors not for my own life, for I know I must die, and my appointed time is set. But if you continue in this way, more innocent blood will be shed."
She begged the judges to examine the accusers separately, knowing that if they did, the fraud would be exposed. She wasn't trying to save herself, she was trying to save everyone else. And Mary Esty was hanged on September 22nd, 1692, in the final group of executions.
Sarah, the last sister, was about 20 years younger than Rebecca.
Sarah's trouble began in church. The Reverend Samuel Parris preached a sermon titled, "Christ Knows How Many Devils There Are in His Church," clearly targeting Sarah's sister, Rebecca Nurse. Sarah did something unthinkable for a Puritan woman. She stood up and walked out of the church allegedly allowing the door to slam behind her.
Shortly after this act of defiance, she was accused. The afflicted girls claimed they saw Sarah at the witch's Sabbath serving red bread and blood wine as a deacon of the devil.
Sarah spent months in the Boston and Ipswich jails. She suffered through the heat of the summer and the freezing cold of winter. But unlike her sisters, she was never tried. The grand jury eventually dismissed the case against her.
After her release in January 1693, Sarah and her husband, Peter Cloyce, moved to what is now Framingham, Massachusetts.
And the road they settled on is called today Salem End Road. It was literally the end of their road from Salem.
The Towne sisters represent 3 different experiences of the witch hunt.
Their legacy lives on today. The Towne Family Association is a massive organization of descendants who gather to honor them. These 3 innocent women are in a lot of hearts today. There are so many descendants. We're privileged as descendants to be able to tell their stories. Sarah, I know you're motivated by Mary Esty's petition, and her request that no more innocent blood be shed motivates us to continue with our charity, our nonprofit, End Witch Hunts, to call for the elimination of witch hunts and witch trials today.